Associate Director in our Student Financial Services Office here at Milliken. I'm also a Milliken alum, and this is my 20th year at Milliken. And today I'm going to talk to you about our two main functions that we provide in our Student Financial Services Office. Okay? All right, so a couple of things that we're going to talk about today. As you can see, student account functions, charges, billing, payments, refunds, meal plans, book vouchers, etc. Financial aid. We're going to talk about FAFSA, scholarships, grants, student loans, verification, work study, that type of thing. All right. Okay, so we've got friendly staff that's here that'll be able to help you with any of your concerns in regards to financial aid. If you pull out your spiral notebook on the back page, we have this contact information listed, so you don't have to write any of that down. You have that readily available to you. Now, earlier today, you should have met Stacy Hubbard, who is our Dean of Admission and Financial Aid. And obviously you've met me. Now I'm going to introduce you to the rest of our staff. So to my right, we have Maya Walker. She is our Assistant Director on the Student Account side. Lynette Lambert, she is our Assistant Director on the Financial Aid side. She primarily handles loans and scholarships. Then we have Natasha Mell. She is our rep that handles Alpha, last name A through G. Sandy Renfro, she handles Alpha H2O. And Michelle Hyden, she handles Alpha P through Z. And also our wonderful administrative assistant, Eric Brewer. All right, so we just want to let you know that even though the reps are separated by Alpha, it doesn't mean you can't talk to anybody else in your office. That's just so that you have a connection with someone that kind of carries you through your tenure here at Milliken. Okay, so when you call in and you want somebody who kind of knows your situation, you can connect with your rep. Okay. All right, so the packets that you have that we passed out, they've been working really hard on putting those together this week for you. It has a lot of essential information in there. Your financial aid award package, it gives you a breakdown. It also gives you another copy of that financial aid essentials piece, which has a lot of information that we're going to talk about today. You just want to make sure that you keep that handy. So obviously you don't have to make a ton of notes because you have all that information in that packet for you. But if you want to notate some things, great. Okay. All right. So if you have questions while I'm talking, just let me know. Just raise your hand. We're also going to stick around for a few minutes before the next session if you have any questions to ask us. If you have personalized questions for your specific situation, we will be in the office until 5 o'clock today, which is in Schilling Hall. It's right across the way. It's on the ground floor. It's in 118 as soon as you come in that back door, okay? So if you have any questions, you can always stop by to see us. All right, so our main goal today is really just to give you some of the highlights that you'll need to know about financial aid and billing, okay? That's our main goal. Obviously, our office deals with a bunch of other things, but that's our primary function. All right. Okay, so, student financial aid. Up to now, you've been working with the admission office, right? Your admission counselors. But now, you're gonna get handed off to our office, and we'll take you across the finish line, if you will, okay? So, basically, what I want to talk to you today is to kind of help you understand how we can help you with any processes that you might have to complete for financial aid, okay, that you haven't completed thus far. By now, you should already have your financial aid award letter. If you don't have your award letter, please let us know so that we can get that information completed for you. We did provide a copy, as I mentioned, in your packet, so you might just want to take a look at it, just make sure everything is what you expected. And like I said, if you have questions, just please let us know. All right, so once again, we're going to talk about things like your scholarships and grants, right? So that financial aid award packet includes your scholarships from Milliken, if you are eligible for any federal or state grants as well, that will be on there also. Okay. With that FAFSA, you want to make sure that you renew that every year. So October 1st is when the FAFSA starts. That FAFSA needs to be renewed every single year. Okay. So with that, you have your FSA ID. So you have one for parent and one for student, right? You want to make sure that you keep that because you will need that every year when you do that FAFSA application. One for the parent, one per student. Students, when you come to campus, you want to make sure that you have your FSA ID because you will need it if you take advantage of the loan program. You'll need it to complete those processes. So just make sure that you have it for that, okay? Very, very important that you do have that. You remember that FSA ID. Okay, so that's one good thing that you need to know. All right, now for our Illinois residents, if you are eligible for the state of Illinois MAP grant, that deadline fluctuates every year. Sometimes they don't tell us until the day of. So we always say just do your FAFSA as soon as possible after October 1st, because you don't want to miss out on that program. Okay? Right now it's at about 5,400. It could go up in the coming years, so that's definitely not something that you want to miss out on, so just make sure that you do that FAFSA on time. All right. Another reason to do your FAFSA on time is so that you get your financial aid award package in subsequent years on time. We typically do those around April, May-ish each year. The next year, when you get your financial aid award packet, you will get an alert via email. You will not get a paper statement in the mail. So you won't get a paper copy of that award letter in the mail. So just remember that for the next coming year. And so if you're waiting for that, you're looking for that in the mail, know that your student is going to get an email alert. And that will let them know that their financial aid award is completed. Okay. All right. So with financial aid, typically we renew it about the same level every year for the 4 years that you would be here. The only things that are contingent upon your FAFSA would be any grants that you may be eligible for. So if you have grants in your application, that is contingent upon your FAFSA information. So we do have to look at your income situation each year to determine eligibility for like the federal Pell Grant or the MAP grant that I mentioned as well, and some institutional grant funds. Now, if you have a specialized scholarship, if you have honors or if you're in a talent program, the honors program has a GPA component to it. So you want to make sure that you are meeting that GPA component each year so you can retain that honors scholarship. With your talent award, you need to make sure that you're staying in the appropriate major to retain that talent award, okay? So you just want to make sure if you have any of those specialized scholarships that you are looking at the information, the criteria needed to retain that. All right, verification. So on the screen you can see, I'm talking a little bit about verification. What that is, it's a quality assurance process. The government selects about 1/3 of students each year to verify the information that they put on their FAFSA against any income tax information. So typically 1040, W-2s, 1099s, that type of thing. We have partnered with Inceptia. Inceptia completes all verification for us, so if you do get a request from them via email, that is legitimate. You do want to make sure you comply with the verification process. They're pretty helpful in terms of helping you through the process. Parent needs to have a login information, and so does student. So you just want to make sure that you get that completed. With verification, if you are selected, your financial aid will not disperse to your account until you complete the process. So it is imperative that you do complete that process so that your financial aid does pay onto your account. All right, so types of financial aid. So we have gift assistance. So as I talked about, scholarships and grants, federal and state grants if you're eligible for those, the specialty scholarships, and also outside scholarships, okay? So with outside scholarships, you just wanna make sure you let us know if you have those. We have a form on our website that you can complete so we know that that's coming for you and we know how to apply it. You want to make sure that you address that to Milliken and Attention Student Financial Services Office so that it comes to the right place. Make sure that you put your student name and ID number on that information. So if it's not coming from you and it's coming from whatever entity that you received the scholarship with, just make sure that they have that information. Because as you would know, we have plenty of students that have the same names, right? So it could be, I don't know, Nick Miller. And I always like to say, you know, with my first name, there's only one other person in the United States with this, so I think I'm pretty safe. But for other people, you know, you may want to make sure you have that ID so it's applied to your account, okay? All right. So next up, we're going to talk a little bit about self-help resources. So we have Federal Work Study. If you're eligible for Federal Work Study, it will be on your financial aid award packet, okay? Those are not dollars that's going to apply to your account unless you are working for those dollars and you choose to have those paychecks go to any balance that you have, okay? So you can do that, or you can opt to have your student receive those checks and help them with any personal expenses that they have while they're on campus. In that financial aid essentials piece, you'll see where it talks about Big Blue Jobs, and that's where they can go online to apply for jobs that are on campus if they are work study, okay? They can go on there, get jobs in a variety of areas. There's, you know, work study jobs in this office, or in this building, in our office, dining services, that type of thing, okay? So if you're eligible for work study, you can definitely check that out. If you are not eligible for work study, there are some jobs that are non-work study that are either on campus or off campus. If you want to inquire about those jobs, just check with the CAP office, which is also in this building right behind us, and they can help you through that process. Okay. Another thing to talk about, I'm sorry, one more thing I forgot to mention, bring 2 forms of government issued ID, because you will need that to complete your paperwork for payment. So in order for you to be paid, you'll need those 2 forms of government issued ID. Make sure you bring that with you when you come to campus so that you don't have to ask mom and dad or guardian to send that to you, because you want to make sure it's secure, right? You don't really want to send it through the postal service if you don't have to. So if you are planning to work, make sure you bring 2 forms of government issued ID, okay? And those jobs are typically paid at minimum wage rate, okay? All right, so the student loan program. Now, I know loans can be a little scary, but sometimes they are a great way to help you with the balance that you may have left over after any of the scholarships and grants have been applied to your account. And hopefully, this will be obviously an investment in your future, right? That we hope yields high rewards, and as parents, hopefully one day, you know, your kids will be taking care of you because they have a degree and they are gainfully employed. So that is our goal, right? So that's what we're going to talk about now. We're going to talk a little bit more about the loan program. So there are 2 different types of student guaranteed loans, okay? That's subsidized and unsubsidized. Subsidized means that the government is paying the interest on it while you're in school. Unsubsidized means that they are not paying the interest while you're in school. Typically, on those loans, you would go into repayment 6 months after the last day of attendance, or after you cease to be half-time enrolled. For freshmen, it's $5,500 is the total that you receive. Your breakdown just kind of depends on that EFC number that you get from the FAFSA, but $5,500 is generally the total that you'll receive in the loan program. All right, so that's what you want to make sure that you're looking for in terms of your loans. You also need to do a couple of processes for loans. You got your master promissory note, and basically that's a promise to pay. And you have your entrance counseling, and that's basically letting you know this is a loan, it needs to be repaid, that type of thing. We encourage the students to do this themselves. Obviously, you know, this is their first time doing this type of thing, so if parents could be with them just to kind of help guide them, but we do encourage the students to do it because they are the lender. They're the borrower. They're the ones that will have this loan. So they need to know what this is about. Okay. When it comes to repayment, the government has flexible repayment terms. So I always let folks know that, obviously you don't know what's gonna happen. Clearly we know that with COVID and everything that entails. We don't know what's gonna happen in the future. If you have a situation where you have a job loss or some financial hardship, then you wanna definitely let your servicer know what's going on so they can work with you. They are really pretty helpful with working with students on student loans. So if you do find yourself in that situation where you go into repayment, please don't ignore them. Just, talk to them, let them know what's going on with you, okay? The other loan that's mentioned is a parent loan. It's a Parent Plus loan. So this is a loan obviously in the parent's name. It is based on a credit check. Okay, so if you are approved for a Parent Plus loan, you can receive up to the difference between your cost of attendance and your other financial aid that you've received. And that includes the student loans. So the difference is what you can apply for in a Plus loan. If you need help with that, obviously you can let us know. We try to give you some information in that packet to kind of give you an idea of what it would be until we have our first billing that comes out, which Maya's going to talk about in a little bit in August. But you can apply for that early, so you have that secured before the first billing statement. You can also apply for a little bit of an addition to include books and supplies as well. So you can tack on a little bit to that total, okay? Now with that Parent Plus loan, the parent needs to do a master promissory note as well, so that Plus loan will pay to the account, okay? If for some reason a parent is not approved for a Parent Plus loan, student is eligible for an additional $4,000, and that's up to $4,000 in the unsubsidized loan program. And so then that would be in the student's name. If parent is denied, student is eligible for $4,000 in the unsubsidized loan in the student's name, but that's the max that they can receive if the parent is denied. Okay, now, private loans. With private loans, we do have a preferred lender list that's on our website, okay? So if you decide that you want your student to borrow private loans, then you can go onto our website and choose one of those lenders on there. We don't have one that we prefer over the other, but that is our list that we know is legitimate, that you can check through with those private loans. Typically, the repayment is 6 months after the last day of attendance or after you cease to be half-time enrollment. Interest rates though can fluctuate because it is based on credit. And so that's the difference between those type of loans and the direct student loans that I mentioned earlier. Now you may be receiving some solicitations in the mail because obviously they get information that you're applying to college or you've done some searches online for colleges, and so they're trying to solicit you to apply for a private loan. Make sure you are very careful with those because some of those are scams, as you may know. So don't give them any personal information. If you are unsure and they are not on our preferred lender list and it's one that you want to try and see whether or not you can apply for, please contact us so we can take a look. Like I mentioned, Lynette is our person for loans, so she can help you through that process. So just give us a call if you are unsure about that and you're getting solicitations for private lenders. All right, so now that I've talked your ear off, I'm gonna hand it over to my Assistant Director of Accounts, Maya Walker, and she's gonna talk to you about the Student Accounts Act.
Good afternoon, everybody. Everybody still with us? Now that was a lot of information for you guys, and I got a little bit more I have to give you before we can let you go for the afternoon. Well, from our session, you still got other stuff to do after us. So I'm Maya. I am the Assistant Director, and I oversee student accounts and billing. And I am going to talk to you guys about my side of the house, what we do, and the things that you need to know coming in. So students, pay attention, because once we're done with this part, I'm going to do a little demo to show you how to navigate my Milliken and the payment suite. So first we are going to talk about the ABCs of student accounts. So first is accounts, and the one thing that I always emphasize is that even though parents are assisting with the cost of attendance, this is the student's account. It's in their name, and they are ultimately responsible for making sure that their bill is paid, that they have met all of the requirements for their financial aid, and that their account is in good standing. So it's really important that students are paying attention to their account, but also that if they are going to have parents or family members assisting with the bill, that they give access to the parent to see those bills. We send bills electronically. We do not mail them home anymore. So you have to be an authorized user on the student's account to be able to get the notification when the bill comes out, but also to access it. It is all loaded into a secure portal, and you get your own login to go in and see that bill, make payment arrangements, and make payments. And I will actually show you guys later how to make an authorized user on your account so that you guys will see it firsthand. Now for billing, we are a semester institution, so we bill per term. The first bill for the fall term goes out in August, and the bill for the spring term goes out in January. We typically try to bill within the first 8 days of the semester, just to give us time to make sure all the charges are on and correct each month. And then your options to pay are to either pay in full by the last day of that first bill, or you can do the payment plan and pay in 4 installments. So for August, for the fall term, your bill will come out within that first 8 days. And then if you're wanting to pay in full, you would do that by the 31st of August. If you're going to do the installment plan, your first payment will be due at the end of August. Same thing goes for the spring semester. Again, email is the way that we send out bills, so you will need to have access to the student's billing portal to be able to view those bills. Every time a bill goes out, we send an email, but also if you enroll in the payment plan, you will need to have a login to be able to go in there and make those installment payments. And we'll go over My Milliken in the payment portal shortly. And for charges, so like I said, we are a semester institution, so for each term we bill for the registration for that term. So full-time tuition is if you are enrolled in at least 12 credit hours and up to 18. Honor students, and I believe the music program has a different criteria for the maximum credits they can take as a full-time student. If you're not sure, ask us, we'll let you know. So flat rate tuition for the first 12 to 18 credit hours that you're in. After that, there can be additional charges added to your account for what's called tuition overload. So on your bill, you will see your tuition, and then you will see your room, your meal plan, and any registration related charges, such as the comprehensive fee. If you're in science courses, you may have a lab fee. Some of the other classes may have technology fees and different things like that, but those are all tied to your registration. And when you go in to pick your classes, it should tell you if there are additional fees associated with that class. Aside from those charges, we also assess any other charges that happen on campus, such as if you get a parking ticket, if you are mailing things home, or you have postage charges, some printing, if you're doing custom printing jobs in the mailroom, those will be added to your bill. And also if you have to get a new ID or any other, you get locked out, need new keys, things like that, all those charges are posted on a monthly basis. So it's important, even if you pay your bill in full in August, that you're still paying attention to the account throughout the term, because any charges that happen each month will be put on there. Another thing that I'd like to let you guys know about charges. Your tuition is set, but if you are making changes to your schedule, after you've talked to your advisor about your changes to your schedule, if you're adding classes, if you decide to drop a class, or if you choose to withdraw later in the term, please come see us before you make any final decisions to make sure that your financial aid will not be affected, or if it is affected, we can give you the understanding of what changes are gonna happen. That is a big, big thing. Make sure you talk to us before you make any changes to your registration after classes have started. All right, so we've kind of talked through a couple different things here about the bills and also about financial aid. I want to explain that there's some things you're going to have to do on that side of the house if you're going to take loans. And I'm going to show you guys how to do some of those things, or at least how to get to them so you know what to look for. This is the My Milliken portal. Should look familiar to you guys. The VIP landing page should have sent you here at some point. This is our hub, and it has pretty much everything that the students will need to access while they're here. So some of the things that they can look at in here are, you can access your email from here. You can see the billing portal. You can go in here and you register your car here. You can appeal parking tickets here. You can add printers. Any printer that's on campus that's available to students, if you need to get access to it, you can do it from here. So there's a lot of stuff in here. I recommend you guys play with it at home once you get home and see if there's anything in there that you need. You'll be able to, you know how to find it. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you all about while we are in here is book vouchers. So we have our bookstore online. I know you guys took a tour. You may have gone to the physical bookstore on campus. It's mostly merchandise. There are a couple of supplies and things there, but for the most part, your books are going to be online. So our bookstore is virtual, and you can access that from this page. So I have mine over here in the fast access tab, but there's another way to access it if you don't see it up front. So this is Mabel Wickline's student page, and Mabel is our registrar's dog. Mabel's been here for quite some time. She's a lifetime student, but we use this as our demo portal so you guys can see what it looks like from a student's perspective. So for the eCampus bookstore, it's under the academics tab, and it's right there at the top, that yellow E that you see here. If you click that, it will take you into the eCampus bookstore, and it's important if you are intending to use a book voucher that you go in through this portal. eCampus has its own website, but if you don't use the Milliken landing page for eCampus, it's separate and you will not see your book voucher. So there are a couple of types of book vouchers that you can have. One of which is the new student book voucher, which was offered to any new student who was attending for the fall term. If you visited campus before May 1st and your FAFSA was filed before May 1st, you are eligible for a $750 book voucher for the fall term only. Couple things to note about that book voucher is that it is only eligible for that one term, and it's use it or lose it. So in December, anything that was not spent, it goes away. It can't be transferred to any other website, so if you're ordering books through Chegg or Amazon or any of the other options, you can't use your book voucher to do that, and we can't reimburse you for those books. So if you're intending to use that particular book voucher, you need to do it on the eCampus website. With that, those book vouchers will be available in August. We won't be loading them until after bills go out, so keep an eye out for that. You should have a little slip in your packet. Most of you will have a slip in your packet that tells you you're eligible for that book voucher if you were on my list. However, sometimes kids get missed. So if you believe you are eligible for it and you did not get the slip, send me an email. My contact information is on that booklet that you guys have. Send me an email. I will look into it and let you know if you're eligible, and we'll get you added to the list if we need to. The second type of book voucher is the one that is tied to your financial aid. Anybody who has an excess amount of financial aid, meaning that after all of your tuition and fees have been paid, you still have some money left over in your financial aid, we will give you a $500 advance against your refund to pay for your books in the eCampus bookstore. So the same rules apply there in regards to it is restricted to the eCampus bookstore. It can't be transferred to any other stores. And but this particular one is only available for a short window during the term. So it's important that you purchase any books that you need as soon as you get your book vouchers in August. Those typically expire within the first 2 weeks of September, because we get ready to refund out financial aid and we need to have all the charges from the bookstore onto your account before we give you your financial aid refund. And once that book voucher expires for the semester, we typically don't reopen it. You just get your financial aid refund and you can use that to purchase anything additional. The eCampus bookstore does not only have books, it has supplies and other things as well, even laptops. So if you are intending to use your book voucher to pay for any of those things, you have the ability to do so, and if you have questions, that's what my office is here for. We can help you figure that out. Okay, so enough about the bookstore. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys is the MU Online portal. You might have seen this already, but you may not have. There are lots of things in here that you will need to know. One of which is validation, which you see right here across the top. When you get to campus, it's important that you validate your registration. This means that you are accepting your schedule, acknowledging your charges, and it's important to do because your meal plan will not work until this process is complete. It's going to ask you for your contact information to make sure we have accurate phone numbers, addresses, emergency contact information. All of that has to be put in, and then also you're just acknowledging that you understand the bulletin with all of the terms of registration and whatnot. Very important that you do that. This is where you do it. If you go to the cafeteria and you swipe your card, you know you have a meal plan and it's not working, it's probably because you haven't validated yet. So other things that you do in here, you can sign up for your direct deposit for your financial aid refund or work study paychecks in here. You update any contact information in here, and you can see your registration. You can see your grades, you can see your academic standing, all in this same portal. And that's going to be in your student profile, which if you click on the student tab and go to the student profile, that is where you will see that. This is also where the 1098-T will be housed, the tax document that students receive for the year. When they come out, it will be housed here as well under the student records. W-2s, if you are working on campus, are also available here. So aside from that, we also have the financial aid tab, and this is where you go to view and accept your award. Shawana mentioned that if you are wanting to take advantage of the loan programs, you have to let us know that you want the loan. This is where you go to do the acceptance portion of it, which is separate from the other two steps that she mentioned. In your packet, there's some sheets of paper with instructions on it that tells you how to accept your aid, but also how to do your master promissory note and your loan entrance counseling. The master promissory note, the MPN, and the loan entrance counseling are done on the studentaid.gov website. You have directions in your packet on all of those things, but I wanted to note that that's a separate site from the Milliken portal because it's a Department of Education requirement. So you can accept your aid in here, you can view your aid in here. And anything that is gift assistance, which Shawana mentioned earlier, meaning it's free money, you don't have to accept that. We've already gifted it to you and it is already in the accepted status. Loans will need to be accepted, and you may see the Parent Plus loan on your financial aid award screen, and it'll show in the offered status. You cannot accept the Parent Plus loan from this portal because you have to apply it and get approved for it. So that is there so that you, one, know that the Plus loan is an option for you, and two, so that you can track the status of it. If you apply and are approved, the status will update in our system to show that it is accepted. So that's another way for you to check on where you are in the process. But again, it can't be accepted in there, and even if you click accept all aid, the Plus loan will always show as offered until that application has been approved. So I'm gonna go back to the My Milliken page, and we're going to talk about the payment portal. So there's a couple different ways that you can get to it. The easiest way is here at the top of the screen. If you hover over the account balance, it will show you what your current balance is on the account. But if you click on it, it will take you into the payment portal. If for some reason you're unable to get in from there, if you scroll down and you go to the tools section, this green pay bills icon right here is how you get into our payment portal. Now this is for the students. The parents will have a separate way to get in once they are made authorized users. So this is our payment portal, and it will look the same whether you are a parent or a student once you log in. So from here, you have the ability to view your statements, view your current account activity, make payments, make deposits on the account, and also view and maintain your payment plan. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to set up authorized users. Right over here on the right-hand side of the screen is the option for authorized users. And when you go in there, it will show anyone who has already been authorized on your account. If they can see your account, you will know about it because they will be listed here. To add new people or update anything, if they're on here and you need to remove them, there will be an option to do that right here on this first tab. The second tab is where you go to add someone. And all you have to do is provide an email address for that person. Once you do that, the authorized user will receive an email to that address, and they will get to set their own password. You can have as many authorized users as you need. Whoever is going to be monitoring your account or making payments on it should have access to the billing information. And this is separate from anything on the academic side. So you don't have to give them your MyMilliken password for them to be able to see your bill. They will have their own link that they get in their email to get into the payment portal. Once they have access, they will be able to make payments, view activity, or whatever level of access you choose to give them, but they won't be able to see financial records for any other authorized users on the account. So if you have mom paying something, grandma's paying something, they won't be able to see each other's financial information, but they will be able to see the payment history on the type of payment that was made and how much it was. So it is protected, and you can have as many authorized users as you need on the account. So we're going to go back to the home screen, and here where you see it says view activity, if you click this, it is going to take you to real-time updates on everything that has happened on your account since you started here. It is broken down by term, and it will always show a term balance. So if you're ever unsure if you had summer charges or you took a winter immersion course and you're trying to figure out what term you owe under, if you go here, it will show you in real time anything that has been done to your account. And I point that out because these statements are only generated once a month. They're only going to show the activity for the last 30 days. So if you're wanting to see recent, like the most recent activity, you should always click view activity. But if you're wanting to look at your statements, you click view statements, and it will show you every statement that you have had generated on your account, and those are on a monthly basis. So here you can make your payment, you can make a payment here. If you are enrolled in a payment plan, right below where you see the statements section, there will be another section that shows the payment plan information. It will tell you how much your installments are and where you are in your payment plan. So out of the 4 installments, how many of them have you paid, how many you have left, and how much that amount is for each one. Will all be listed there with due dates. You can also view and manage your payment plan from the tab at the top here. The plan history for any plans you've been in throughout your entire Milliken career will be listed here. And then if you need to manage something, if you need to update payment information, if you need to schedule a payment, those things are all going to be available to you right here. Now there's one other thing, because I do get questions from parents about our payment plan and the 4 installments. Some parents would rather have more time to make payments on the account. We require payment to be made, the account to be paid in full for the semester by the end of November. So, payment plan starts in August, you have 4 installments, it ends in November. If you're wanting to get a jump start so that your installments are less for the term, you do have the option to make a deposit towards that balance that's coming up for the term. So some parents will start paying in July, they will make a payment towards the account, and when we bill and we release all of the financial aid and everything to the account, those payments that they made in advance will hit the account first. When the payment plan kicks in, it will be less because you have less of a balance to cover for the term. Same thing in the spring, since the payment plan for the fall semester ends in November, some parents elect to start making payments towards the spring in December. Same thing, you just select the term that you're wanting to pay under. And when we release the billing for that term, any payments that you have made towards that total balance will be released first. So that's just an option if you're wanting more time to make payments on your bill, you do have the option to do that. And even throughout the summer, you can do that as well. In future terms, if you want to make advance payments towards the next semester, while you have a break in the billing, you do have the ability to do that. The other use for the deposit screen is if you decide as a student to take advantage of any of our travel programs. There are immersion trips that happen with certain programs and also just extracurricular travel opportunities. There's typically a deposit that you need to make to secure your spot, so they know that you're really gonna go. You do that here as well. And if you decide to take advantage of any of those, you will get instructions from whatever program you're participating in on how much that deposit is and when you need to have it in. But it's the same thing, you do all of that here, and if you're not sure, you can always swing by our office and we'll be happy to assist. So that is all of the things that I needed to show you guys today. We will be available for questions in the lobby if anyone has anything they'd like to talk about, but you can also swing by Schilling Hall, room 118. We will be there till 5 today. If you have specific questions about your student or anything that we need to look up for you, swing by the office before you leave today and we'll be happy to answer your questions. And you can always reach us via email or by phone. We're here during regular business hours all summer. Okay, I believe that the next step for you guys is parents are going to Pelling Chapel and students are